Записую, тут треба вже маніпулювати або ходити з камерою, щоб розуміти, що відбувається.
Я думаю, що зараз все нормально, що воно там.
Так, а потім треба зняти, то нам потрібна просто людина, хто це буде робити. Ну, зум ми не робимо, так?
Зум не виходить.
Все, тоді ходи записуй. От цим воно відкриває. Ти знаєш, як підняти.
Знати.
І
Is it so that we should change the two most important specifiers?
окей. If you feel that two isn't enough, you can add the third one. Nice armchair. Everybody put already their small papers? Do it, please. Now we see more or less a general picture, general overview, what is going on in 3 networks in our 5 countries. I would say it's not bad, because we see that almost all cards have these small papers and not so many gaps. We can see that the sector of the dimension of ecology is the best one. Everybody takes care of the ecology except for the renewable energy.
Yeah, I can put there.
You can put there. Okay.
Yeah, but
Great.
I think there's a problem with this card, like move towards 100%.
100%.
That's
Maybe,
might be misleading.
But we move.
Good deal.
Move towards, which means that for present it may be optimistic. Yeah,
it's missing something.
You mean that somebody is moving to only 90%? We are moving to 100%, but we are realistic. Okay. So, and now what I propose is to take each card one by one, and please, those who put your papers here, in one sentence, shortly, say how you do it. We will start with the economy, with the sector of economy, with the dimension of economy. For instance, here we have cultivate social entrepreneurship to create sustainable solutions. Who put this card? Could you tell us how you do it? How you cultivate social partnership? Great. Could you say that? Just 1-2 sentences, briefly.
Yeah, I try to produce knowledge on social entrepreneurship through my dissertation, social and solidarity economy, and yeah, it's available and I can share.
Great. So listen to others, and maybe you will hear things that could be useful to you, and you can contact those people. Thank you. Now, generate well-being for all through economic justice. Who does it already? Who generates well-being for all through economic justice and cares about economic justice? Who put this paper?
We call it wind.
Wind. Okay. So many people put papers on investing in fair trade and ethical systems of exchange. Could you say please how you do it? How you invest in fair trade and ethical systems? already? How you do it? Who are these people?
It's a secret.
Please give an example.
I give example.
Yeah.
We have exchange this lead system, so we exchange stuff. In village, it's informal, but in Brno we have it formalized, maybe. So we try to have local exchange, and the lead system, the local exchange trading system, is one form. We are not many. We are like 100 people, but
This means that you exchange without money.
yes. We
Of
don't.
which kind of products or
Yeah, I give
services?
apples and juice from apples mostly. But
Exchange for what, for instance?
for languages we get now, because my daughter learns from our neighbor,
Uh-huh.
French, and I learn Spanish from some
Oh,
another people.
that's great.
So this
That's interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, great. This means that without clapping, yeah, we support you. Empower local economies. Could somebody tell us something about your local economies? How it works?
I buy some products and services from locals while I'm running my own small business. It's just to, well, it's spreading to my neighbors when I need to buy something and to prepare food for the tourists. It works like this.
Thank you, great. Ensure equitable ownership of land and resources. Nobody put paper here. That means that we have a gap here. It's a problem. Do anybody of you have this problem? How that you have to ensure equitable ownership of land and resources?
I think I don't understand
Yeah,
this.
maybe that's the.
It's common ownership or
This
shared
means
ownership?
that you have a plot of land, but you don't know how to share it in a right way with other partners.
But it's my plot of land. Why would I want to share it?
Maybe you want this land to be common land for several families. Yeah, but how to do it?
We have a system for that, actually. We have a common share ownership in our land. We have 26 hectares or 4, something like that. Yeah, and we have this that you take a part from the ownership, like you put money, but you don't have this size land that the amount money you put in, but everybody has the ownership of the whole, and we decide together what to do with it. So maybe you want to do something which is bigger size than the money that you put in, but it's not work like that. So it's like how cooperation works, for example.
So it's a fixed amount of money for every member?
No, it's like we bought the land, the community members, and everybody put the money that they can. So somebody put more, somebody put less, and the goal is to make it equal. But it's in the system that you don't have more rights if you put more money or something. So
It's typical for cooperatives.
yeah, it's the same.
Thank you, thank you.
How
So-
much land you have? 28 acres or hectares?
Hectares.
So if you are interested, you will be able to ask questions
Yeah.
about it. Thank you. Thank
And
you
it could be as well possibly like organizing seed swaps, no? Because it's as well accessing resources.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a lot of people here are doing seed swaps. So I think it's as well a really good example.
Maybe
Then
I
we can put more papers there.
Okay, great, thanks. So the next point, reconstruct the concept of wealth, work and progress. Do we have another vision of wealth, work and progress? Could somebody share it? His vision, his understanding.
I can share my understanding.
Okay.
I believe the real wealth is a wealth of our social connections as we see in nature. There are so many interconnections, and these interconnections make the system very much stable. And if we develop this kind of and this depth of interconnections, we will be very wealthy, because through this interconnection we can share whatever resources, knowledge, wisdom we possess, and it will be available to each member of the society. So,
what a beautiful TED talk, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, and now that's why I propose to move to the social sector, from the economy, because you said that it is so important. This could be our economy also, the social part. And we have this card, develop fair, effective and accountable institutions. Who put this card? Could you say what you do already? Huh?
Probably me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm, for example, trying to build this school of permaculture, the whole system where you have pomôžte mi rýchlo v angličtine, ako keby takú tú dôveryhodnosť. Like trust for the teachers, that teachers are professionals in a permaculture way, and so when you learn it there, you're gonna really get that knowledge you need, because sometimes people teach even they have, for example, no practice and so on. So I try to build permaculture association in Slovakia, and also this schooling system for permaculture to be like verse to trust, that it's okay to go there and to learn.
Like accreditation of the trainers? Like
yeah, of course they are, or professional teachers too.
yeah, but you accredit them, you say who is
No, I choose the teachers that are professionals in praxis, what they teach, and the professional teachers too.
Thank you. Good, we move on. Embrace diversity and build community. Could somebody tell something about it? Embrace diversity and build community. How we build communities?
In our community there's many ages, for example. So for example we have a member who is almost 70 years, and we have child also. We integrate our ages, for example. And build community. So
Yeah.
it's big.
Okay, maybe somebody could add something about diversity. How you already embrace diversity in your sites?
We are making jams, like musical jams, and inviting people from different cultures. So also some people come from like a refugee who is living here, and we like to involve these people when they can add their cultures and sing or do any kind of toys, musical, cooking at the same time.
Thank you. The next card is empower participatory leadership and governance, and nobody put a paper here. What could we say about this? Empower participatory leadership. This means that it is easy for leaders and for the governments to do their job in the right way. I understand it like this. And it's not always easy. Yeah.
I did not get to read that one, but if I would, I would put a paper on it, and I believe that it is really important to get back control on our resources, and to build up a sustainable movement. We really need to share responsibilities and power within an organization, also based on gender, ethnicity or class.
Okay, thanks.
In Slovakia, maybe you heard we have a new president now, the wife, and it's from ecological movement, and even, for example, the mayor of Bratislava, the capital city, it's from ecological movement, and so on. The mayor for our whole region is very ecological person, so I think in Slovakia it's like coming up on the surface already, that we have many people in politics that are ecologists, really.
Can you send some to Poland? We do exactly the opposite.
Even in Czech would be good.
You want to add something?
They say
Yeah?
one thing, let's see what they do.
Okay. Let's speak.
Yeah, I think they are for the making government cooperation to education system, so bringing in the permaculture into the high level from the low level. So in last year we introduced the university in Hungary for the 3 basic topics for the fair share. We come together and actually created the PDC, and then the earth care with the agriculture and the horticulture department together, so bringing in that for this, and also the second one for the human ecology university, and that's cooperated with the Hungarian government now, and then people in the university with no fees that can take it out. Because that's the next step for them to the life school.
Great.
It was translated from English to Ukrainian or from Ukraine?
No, from English to Ukrainian. The original is Ukrainian. Is English. Yeah. So a lot of people put their small papers on this card. Practice conflict facilitation, communication, and peace building skills. Please share your experience. Maybe somebody.
I didn't put paper.
No, you didn't put paper. Okay, but it's this question touches you.
It's a common question.
Common question. Okay, you wanted to say something, please.
Yeah, it's one of the basis of our community that we see the conflict as an opportunity to grow, and I think it should be more.
You are an ideal community. Sorry, you are an ideal community.
We are not, but I'm in it since I don't know 4 years, and now it's really in practice. So in the daily life, if we have a conflict, it's not like we go crazy and cry, or I don't know, it's a terrible thing or something, but okay, it's hard and it's tension, but we know the way to have a facilitator group and mentorship also, so it depends the situation. We have some forms how we solve the problems, and it works, so I'm really proud of that, because I think it's not really usual.
Do you use some special techniques, like NPC or something?
I'm sorry?
Do you use some techniques or methodologies for?
Yeah, and also different forms. For example, sometimes we just sit like the two conflict person and the facilitator, or two facilitator and the 2 person, or the 2 person, a facilitator, and the whole group. So. And it's becoming more common to talk about the conflict in the whole group, and it's supported by the whole group, and it's really good the opportunity to learn from each other and support each other and see the conflict really legal something, not obligated or. So, but we have many. One of our founders is a psychologist. And we have some professionals, facilitators also, and someone who learned MVC. So we have some experts, and others learn from there and from outside, of course. So it's in the focus to do that.
Yeah. I just would like to add, because this is just like the core of functioning community, and. At the beginning, we just said, okay, well, we just do the course of empathic communication, like conflict resolution, and the decision making, etc. But then it turns out that, like as a Scott Peck, like development community, from the pseudo community to the different phases of chaos, and etc. So this is just something really important for the group to just go through that process, and we have like 2 kind of big conflicts that through the mediation and facilitation just could overcome, and even no matter what is the result, or if those 2 parties are just not really coming to the agreement. So the important part for the conflicts is basically to have the discussion, and just to have all the time those 2 parties at the discussion level. So that's the goal for that. And this is something that brings the strength to the community, because the different views can just enlarge your view of thinking, and then it can just help you just to work with that. But of course, I would say, and this is just where the challenge I see is that there are some people that are not really ready to be in a community, and they just can't overcome its own, like, let's say, shade sides of themselves, of their personality. So that's why they just kind of leave, and that's why a lot of communities they have kind of a integration period for that to find out the way. So this is, I think, at the core of just any building a community.
Thank you. We move on. Ensure equal access to holistic education and health care. Who could say something? Who put this small paper here? Yeah.
Because I work as a special education teacher or something like that, and in our association where I work, we work with dance therapy, and also we go to schools to have social acceptance between the children, and also I work with children to have to include in the school. And we also have dance therapy groups for people with severe disabilities, so different kind of things, and I thought it's something to do.
Great, thank you.
But I would like to do it not in the city in the future, but in the community.
Maybe you will find some communities. Yeah, you will hear
Don't
something.
run from the city.
No, not run, just walk.
Just walk. Just walk. It's very slow.
Take the public transport.
Thank you. Cultivate inclusive, responsive and transparent decision making. About decision making. It was also you who put this, or somebody else?
It was me.
Okay, great.
I would like to go to this way, but what I can say is not so much. I work in an alternative school, and there we have a common decision making, like in a workshops, that we know how we made the decisions and who is responsive. That's one thing, and the other that I hold in workshops with the kids, and we are deciding together sometimes, or most of the time, that what we are doing together. So it's just a few examples that in a school environment how you can do such a thing. I would like to learn techniques.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. Okay, we move on to the next dimension. We will speak about ecology, and a lot of people put their papers on increasing biodiversity and regenerating ecosystems. Could you share, please, how already you increase biodiversity?
A lot of papers.
A lot of papers. Give examples. Give some first 1-2 sentences.
I can.
Yeah, great.
I'm botanist, so we have the half-hectare garden, and making the kind of all these biotopes, different ecosystems, you actually attract the creatures which are diverse or even rare, like amphibians in lakes and these things. And it's happened quite easily whenever you make a pond or lake, it works. So, and if there is some reed or some grass on it works very well. So that's one thing. So we have I like to count these species. So we have a lot of now, like a new species we didn't have 10 years ago. It's not as difficult.
Okay, move towards 100% renewable energies. Who does already? Renewable.
No.
100%.
No, not 100%,
It's too
but a bit, maybe.
That was empty, so I took it.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have experience?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah?
I have 4 children.
Renewable energy.
Yeah, we started photovoltaic, and we have also this car sharing organization. We go towards electric cars, but of course it has to be connected. I mean, to make alternative energy, and then you can use this car sharing which is supported by this energy. But it's a long way, but we started with.
Thank you. Work with waste as a valuable resource. Who does it already in a successful way?
Yeah.
Example. That's true. Somebody else?
I put the paper there. Well, at work we do recycle. It wasn't my initiative, it was there when I came. I do recycle at home as much as I can. We also make compost at home. And next to my work there is a building site, and they were doing some sort of massive underground water system, and they come with this piece of plastic tube, and I went to the builder and I said, can I have this? You know, he said, no, I don't know, okay. So and then he said, okay, so he chucked it over the fence for me, so I could get it, and I made a raised bed from this. So that was my bit.
Okay, thank you.
I would say we just decided with my friends that we are not gonna buy anything. Like if we are gonna need something, we are not gonna buy it. So every time we need something, I mean a new USB or something, we are just asking between each other instead of go and buy a new anything.
That's great.
So instead of
just reminded me that I'm a member of the group, Facebook group that to give away. So if I have something to give away, I post it, and somebody says it's local, it's regional. So somebody says, okay, I want it. So then we exchange details, and the person comes and gets it.
Just one thing I would like to mention, because on EU there's, I think that there's one directive that has been recently passed that all the producers of the washing machines would need to, from I think 2021, to create the machines that are like repairable if it all parts. So this is just something quite big.
It's not just for washing
It's for all the equipment.
Work. Working life should be 10 years at least or something.
Yeah, I know it's just a long, but it's something that's quite important in this area.
Ukraine is not in the US.
Don't worry.
Innovate and spread green building technologies. Could you share, please?
I can say something.
Yeah.
We are just building a house, and before that we spent 1 year doing the research, then 1 year making the design with an architect. And right now we are building the house, documenting and everything, and the architect is already like traveling around Poland, teaching about the technologies and innovation we use. So he's also a teacher, so that's probably gonna bring some added value, not just for the habitants of this building, but also some other people interested in natural building technologies.
Thank you.
I just add, it's not me. We in Slovakia have an NGO where are permaculture designers and architects, and they are focused just on natural building, and they do even professional courses or simple workshops and everything, and they are really like professional teaching way. In the way of teaching, they are professionals already. It's called Artur.
Like the king?
Yeah.
In Slovak
Now
language?
we're going to remember it for sure.
No, they are teaching in Slovak language.
Well, one of them has the husband who is from Sweden. Is also a very famous ecological architect.
Swedish.
So maybe English too, but mostly, as I see on Facebook, they get courses, different ones, conferences and so on.
Thank you. We move on. Clean and replenish sources and cycles of water. I do it because this is part of my tanks that collect rainwater. But somebody else also does it.
I put it in there. So we try to like do the full cycle of water. So let's say there is rain, we try to catch as much of the water as possible in order to do it, because there is not rain very often, but usually very strong rain in short time. So we create this underwater big tank so that we can have the tank there. We use the water for also drinking after some filtering. Use it in the house. From the house it goes to the greenhouse, like automatically irrigating. Sometimes it goes through a charcoal filter. And we have a pond. It ends up in a pond. And the pond sometimes has too much algae in it, too much green, so we use the charcoal to clean it.
Somebody else?
We have a very good specialist in Slovakia, the teacher. There is a farmer growing peppers, but on the same field every year. So he has to work a lot with the soil, and he's really great. And we got nowadays the book and the courses with him about microbiology of the soil. He's very professional in compost making. We try all these recipes, this soil kitchen with him in a research to like see how easy or how you can do it really fast, not like playing.
What's his name?
Timotej Sabo.
Yeah. I would like to learn it. It's my favorite vegetable, and for present I'm not satisfied with my results in my garden.
There are simple ways, really. You can get the ingredients, for example, for mycorrhizas and so on, by yourself, not to buy, because in Slovakia it's very expensive to buy the little bag of mycorrhizas, for example, for trees. It's interesting for me.
Thank you. We move to the next dimension. It's culture. Engage actively to protect communities and nature. Who does it already? Who protects communities and nature successfully? Nobody. Nobody protects nature.
Nobody.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are protecting the nature, and this is connected also with the biodiversity topic. And we are not only connecting our nature, but we are struggling not to cut natural forests, in which the biggest biodiversity exists, and which are the enclaves of diverse life of all species. Because of course we know that the plantation and trees in forest must exist, must be cut, and this is also renewable energy. But we work to protect natural forests, and of course we do it also for the society.
Thank you. Connect to a higher purpose in life. Who has this connection already?
I do have.
You have it, okay. Can you share it?
Once again,
higher purpose in life.
Okay, I believe that we have different elements in us, in our personality, which is our body, and we need to support it. We need good food, good air, good society, and interaction within society and nature. But our real nature is the spirit and the soul, and we should use this opportunity of physical life to advance spiritually and take care of it, really take care of it, not only about good food and good neighbors and good family, but also to take care of personal spiritual advancement. And this is the real purpose of us being here.
Thank you. Reconnect to nature and embrace low-impact lifestyle. Who lives already in this way, low-impact lifestyle, except winter? How you do it?
Always riding with my bike, mostly everywhere. And that pick is also like me when I'm going to nature. Backpacking some things which I need and go and stuff.
Thank you. You want to say something?
No,
we also live this.
Yeah. I learned how to live a really low impact in the nature. When I lived in the jungle in a community, so we really needed to take care of the nature, and I just learned a lot
how to live and like really not using anything, I mean, just yourself and the nature. And
you lived there for a long time?
yeah, for 8 months, and I just can recommend to everyone.
Where did you live?
In which country? Peru. Yeah.
In the jungle.
Yeah.
And now you manage in your normal life?
Of course, yeah. I'm still like, I mean, I'm living in a caravan, and I don't need anything. So everything is there in the nature. So if I can, I'm as I said, I'm not buying anything. If I need something, I go and just do it. Yeah, I do it myself.
Where did you live exactly? In, like among some tribes or in some
yeah, I live
village?
with the indigenous people, but after like 2 weeks it was too much for me because they are really like I'm really accepting everyone and everything, but it was no common language, and they are looking to you like UFO, you know, like yeah, and acceptance it was much more difficult for them than for me.
So then you?
I was living in a community like rainbow communities, and after like the community, they were like European people just who ran away from the societies and
who lived in the jungle, Europeans.
Yeah.
Okay, having nothing. Okay, thank you. How many escaped? How many escaped?
It depended, but yeah, we can afterwards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nurture mindfulness and personal growth. Develop mindfulness and personal growth. Who does it already? Who develops his personal growth?
Hopefully everyone.
Yeah, I think maybe somebody could share his experience, that he did some progress in it. He sees the difference 5 years ago and now.
I can share.
Yeah,
I can share. I do meditation for 12 years, and it helped me a lot to maintain my peaceful inner condition. And sometimes big troubles happens, and sometimes smaller ones, and it really helps to be stable and balanced despite all this turbulence of life. And can you repeat once again?
Mindfulness and personal growth.
And I liked our host a lot because he's really in condition of the flow, and I understand him very good. From one part we need some rules to be together, but if we are really in the condition of the flow and we just let things happen through us, then we really don't need the rules, because it becomes like a total ecosystem, and we just let things happen through us, and it's really a magic. And
do you have wife?
Good question.
Good question.
No, I don't.
It explains everything. That's why Irina and me were stressed because of technical issues. Oh, we don't have sound, it doesn't work. Why are you so worried? And Geza says, relax. 2 worlds. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I may add to this one, because this is something that on one side you just can be in like a formal meditation, calmness, etc. But from my life journey, I just got experience of like denial of this society, then moving to the other side, and right now I think that I'm just in a way of integrating those two worlds, because that's just what gives me like a calmness in my inner side, just to integrate and accept the world as it is, but at the same time just pay attention what I would like to do, and the strength this just gives me from the inner focus of myself, who I am. And I think that like a formal meditation can be just very good, but then the informal part, anytime when you are, that's the most challenging, especially with the kids and wife. Yeah, and I have 3 kids, and they are really good mirrors of what is happening inside of me. So they are just like the best teachers. So thank everybody who got the children. Yeah.
Thank you. We go on. Respect cultural traditions that support human dignity. Who does it already? Cultural traditions in your life, in your activity. Who put these papers? Yeah, okay, I will translate.
Я обучаю женщин вспоминать родовую память свою.
I teach women to recall, to remember the memory of their family line, ancestors.
Мы изучаем забытый уже традиционный славянский крой побережный. Там, где
we learn how to make dresses in a traditional Slavic way.
бережно относимся к женской энергетике.
We take care of woman energy.
Развиваемся в этом направлении.
We develop ourselves in this direction. Thank you. Okay. Celebrate life and diversity through art. Who does this?
I don't know how much celebrate life and diversity, but I'm painting pictures, and I really, in the last few months, I'm selling my pictures, so this is the way how I got some money. But in the last few months, like what I'm doing, so like I feel that I really don't need nothing, and I feel so grateful for all this abundance. So I just decided that some of my pictures I'm gonna donate the money what I give from what I receive for them, and I just started to support these communities where I lived before, and it's a really nice way, I think, to can, even if we feel sometimes that we just don't know how to support, but we always can find ways.
Your experience?
Yeah, we both do music very often, and also for me the dance we also make performance with my colleagues. One of my colleagues are blind, and we do now a common performance, and it's a good way, I think, to show people maybe who never met before, different people, or people who maybe not see, and then in this way they can experience something of it little. And I also love it.
Great. What we need in our Permaculture Association is celebrating. We don't know, in fact, how to celebrate. Let's work.
Let's tell us about yourself, yes?
When you are head of organization, you have influence on the way of, our previous head was like this, I'm like this. We have this tradition. Okay.
Keeping traditions.
Here. So, we missed one. No,
That is tradition.
This tradition. It's maybe.
Then you have to take to plan a celebration and then to
we
perform.
always plan it, but we never do it. Everybody goes away.
Just
when it's time for celebrating.
We were talking during the lunch time about dragon dreaming techniques.
Yeah.
And
We tried it, but we planned. We always plan, but never do it. So, the last dimension is the whole system design, and we have cards like identify the right scale for each solution. Different solutions and different scales. Who can share his experience? How you do it?
I have something because I have a professional bookbinder and I'm an illustrator also. And in the community we have a community enterprise which based on my knowledge. And I had some, dream to, it is my job, and I run this enterprise and make a place to join to this enterprise for new members, for example. And I have this idea that, or expectation from myself that I should how should I do it? And after 1 year, I just realized that it really comes from my earlier pattern that I do it perfectly and do it full time, and how many books I should produce. And now I just realized that okay, I have some tasks in the community also, and these are just has the same importance, and it's not bad. So it took for me 1 year to realize that there's a balance and it's okay, and there's a place for others to join, and then we can do more. So it's like finding my own capacity, and it's just really calming to realize that things can be done in many ways, and I think it's connected to that.
Thank you. Find strengths, weaknesses, and leverage points in all areas. Who is this person who manages to do it? Or maybe somebody else could say something. Find strengths, weaknesses, and leverage points in all areas. So to be really very
pessimistic.
Quite pessimistic. No, on the contrary, I see it like harmonious person. Yeah, to be in harmony. Ideal, perfect, to be a perfect person.
You would hate it. You would hate that person.
But we have one person like this. Maybe he's also shy.
It's not being an idealistic.
Becoming, I think. You know, it's good. I didn't put it in there.
I believe it's that the person is really connected within society and knows what strengths we have and what is our weakness, so we can work on it. I think it's about being connected in society and taking care of further involvement and
And this means also maybe to be a good leader. Yeah, when you see all the parts, all the strengths and the weaknesses, you know how to coordinate projects.
It can be even not a leader, but the person who connects everybody into one society. So it cannot be like a leader and guiding people to brighter future, but people who really can observe and help and recommend to the leader or the group of leaders what should be done and what is priority now. So something who can really observe and transmit his ideas to someone who takes decisions, or group of people who takes decisions.
I would add that it is also connected to the mindfulness. It has to be someone who is like reflective and who is mindful that there are some other areas, and if he is neglecting one area, it can bring the strength down as well. So it's like good to develop the strength in the first place, but if there is some very weak spot, it can bring you down. And I'm talking from my personal experience, because I thought that my personal relationship is working fine, and I was doing these projects and everything. I thought that I'm great, but then I wasn't mindful enough to see that I didn't put my energy into a relationship, and it really put me down. And as soon as I realized it and I worked on it, I spent a lot of energy on it, then suddenly it moved everything up, and things are better. So I think it's like a mindful way, and to like monitor and be aware of all the areas, and this is like a good tool also, and work consciously in all areas, and possibly teach other people or try to help others. But yeah.
I just would like to add one thing, because this is something that we can see it in a way of the personal way, just me as a person or as a human being. But then when you are in the community, so the strengths, weaknesses and all points of areas, so you can see it in the community as well as on the scale of the whole planet. And this is just something like to connect all those different levels in the whole system thinking, and interconnected your weaknesses and strengths in order just to how you can bring to some community as well as to the planet. And this is the way that then you just celebrate you as a part of the whole organism of the planet. And that's just like the way how I see this point.
Thank you. Great. Honor traditional wisdom and welcome positive innovation. who welcomes already positive innovations in their life, 4 persons at least. Could you share, please? Traditional wisdom and positive innovation.
I don't want to talk all the time, but for example, the sai, I'm teaching the sai, and it's a great example for this, because it's a traditional equipment, but it can be used in a modern way. And today the information is out there, so you can choose from all over the world so how the sai was being used. You can choose like the best method. Of course, it's a subjective, but since the information is there, it's usually a good decision. And then you can use the sai very effectively, even more effectively than our ancestors used it, because they were following like tradition and doing the same mistakes over and over again. Now the time has changed, the consciousness awareness has changed, and it's possible to do it in a new way, and it can become a modern tool, and it's actually becoming, for many people, it's becoming a modern tool, although it's a traditional tool.
We also see an example of honorable traditional wisdom in Anastasia communities. They do a lot of job in it. Традиційну мудрість шануєте своїх спільнот. They celebrate ancient holidays. Yeah. Okay. Empty. Nothing here. Engage all stakeholders in design for the future. Interested persons, organizations on different levels.
You should. Yeah, you should know the one.
Yeah, maybe it's true, I do it. Because at present I see my role in my organization, Permaculture Association, it's like uniting different web networks in which I'm involved. Eco-villages, permaculture, biodynamic agriculture, and maybe something else, because I'm involved in different projects and I want to unite it for the benefit of everybody.
Yeah, I can also add that we should see all the stakeholders. That means we cannot keep ourselves in our bubble. For example, as we are protecting forests, as I mentioned, that means I'm not only going to ecologists or also our mayor, who is also ecologist, but I also go to other like a forestman lobby and national forests to try to make them not enemies but to support me. Yes, so all the actors, we should not eliminate those who are not thinking the same way we are thinking, yes, because they will always be opposite us.
I would also like to add on that, that I work in agroecology and basically it's a multi-stakeholder interdisciplinary thing, to be short, and we try to involve as many people as possible who are farmers, policymakers, researchers, social movements, and many other NGOs, etc. So it's a really multi-stakeholder, and we're trying to organize events where all the representatives are there and not to leave anyone behind. But it's a challenging task.
And to add to this topic, I am a researcher, and I think it's also really important not just to focus on those ones who are in power positions, but also bring in the perspective of the marginalized people. And I think this is also important in the permaculture movement, to not just think about middle class people who can afford to think about Mother Nature and sustainability, but also try to kind of expand this movement to the ones who are not in the position to think about environmental sustainability, because they need to make a living.
Thank you. Learn from nature and practice whole systems thinking. Who learns from nature already and can share his experience? What did you learn?
It was my paper there.
Yeah.
Since I'm a professional permaculture designer as a landscape architect, I at least try to do it in my professional job like that. Yeah. So I try. If I am, they told us at school, you as an architect, landscape architect, you are great because you will never get like punishment for what you do, because you never will live that long. you know, if I if I start designing and planting trees now, so they will not be finished yet, and I will be finished already. So I just think I'm doing it this way, you know what I mean? I try to do it this way, but there is, I think, you can never judge if you are doing the right thing, really, you just can try. Because you never in your own life can, like, prežiť. So no, experience.
Thank you.
I would like to add, I'm very much a young person into permaculture and so on, but I admire the nature and the wisdom of nature, and I keep repeating to people and to myself that nature exists for 5.5 billion years, and its experience really huge. And if we have questions on how to act, we can address nature and observe how it acts and does in similar situations. Because I believe that many species went quite a long way ahead of us in terms of its evolvement, but we judge only according to technologies, and we see that any species has technology and think we are much advanced. But I believe many species are much advanced in terms of social interrelations, and we can learn from it and be really realize that we are very much part of the nature.
And here is the last card, and it's so interesting to see. I didn't do it on purpose, but it is written build networks for mutual support. And in fact, our next activity will be about networks. I didn't do it on purpose. I just want to ask you if you need 5 minutes break or we can continue.
Please. Yeah, break. Just to have a drink.
Okay, 5 minutes break and we continue with another activity about networks. Thank you.
A Jacek, a nie będzie
Może by zamówić do nich na zakupy.